Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of AOB Experts. I've got my good buddy from Huntington Beach, Steve Springer, on the show. How you doing, Steve?
I'm good, Mark. Good to be here, bud. How are you?
I'm great, man. I really appreciate you doing this. I've been wanting to do this for some time, for a really long time. So I'm really excited about today's interview. I got some really solid questions for you, man. You're the performance coach for the Toronto Blue Jays. You're a big league guy. You do a lot of scouting, and I kind of want to skip the intro just because I kind of already assume that almost all of the AOB fans know who you are. And you're pretty active on Twitter, so you've got a huge following, a huge fan base. So we're going to skip the intro. We know who you are. I want to just get down to the nitty gritty and ask some really interesting questions that I think I'm just really excited to hear what you have to say. My first question for you, Spring, is there's a lot of debate on peak performance and on the batting average, and you're what you're really known for is the interesting way of the things that you're talking about when it comes to peak performance. So my first question is, why do you think hitters in general put so much pressure on themselves to succeed?
Well, I think it's almost pretty simple when you really look at it. I think since we're 5 years old, that batting average, it's the most evil thing in baseball. It's the biggest trap in baseball, and nobody knows about it. Okay, and I can't have a goal where I could do everything right and go 0 for 4. And you have to buy into that little statement right there before you buy into anything that I say. I call Abner Doubleday a genius. When he said get it by 8 guys, he created the greatest game in the world, because right there he invented the mind screw. Right there he invented be a perfectionist. And I think that's what I see when I talk to dads. Anybody that orders my CD online, I try to call them up and ask about their, how old's their son and everything like that. And a lot of these dads are getting it, and they should. And, their son's like 10 years old. And I'll say, so you mean this is for you? Because the dad needs to know what I know, and because we all want what's best for our kids, right?
Right, exactly.
But what we're doing is we're turning our kids into perfectionists, right? And we can't be a perfectionist and play this game. This game is set up. This game almost puts you into a timeout for 90% of the game, like you're in trouble because there's so much failing involved. So my whole thing, Mark, is changing what we think success is, so the confident guy could show up. I've been tweeting a lot about every player. I did, you did, Mark Trumbo, Paul Goldsmith, Jose Batista, right? We all have 2 players in us. I got confident guy and I got non-confident guy, right? Confident Steve Springer. Trust me, I love my abilities. I was a big leaguer in my mind. You can't tell me I couldn't have played 5 years in the big leagues.
Right.
I just learned when it was too little, too late.
Right.
Non-confident Steve Springer, he sucked. He was brutal. Right? He shouldn't even got an A ball. So what I'm trying to teach is how do we get that confident guy to show up, man? He's a good player. And the way the system's set right now, buddy, it's really, really hard to do it. It turns you into perfectionist. I get emails from kids all over the country, parents from all over the country on the batting average and how it destroys them. And yet when you find out that there's freedom when you say I don't care what I hit, it's mind-blowing how many emails I get from kids and parents thanking me to get rid of that stat.
Yeah. And this was probably, I would say, a little over a year ago. You were in Anaheim at the ABCA. You were talking in front of well over 4,000 coaches at this conference, and you said something really interesting. You said that we're playing the self-esteem destroying game in the world, and I thought that was really interesting that you said that. Because you're right. To me, I mean, I guess I'm speaking just for myself, but yeah, we focus so much on the results, like you said, the batting average, because that's what we're taught to do at an early age, is to value the batting average. You're succeeding when you're hitting for a high batting average. And yeah, that's definitely, we got to change the way that we're looking at that.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And this is what I tell the parents too. Your kids are playing the biggest self-esteem destroying sport in the world. Because here's what happens. The kid makes an error, especially that 8 to 12-year-old kid. He makes an error, he's embarrassed. The other team's cheering. He doesn't like that feeling, right? The coach is usually yelling at the kid, and then he's got to ride home with the parent and get another earful.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just amazing. When we think about it that way, this is why I'm so into changing what we think success is. This is why it's about hit ball hard, you win. Help my team win that day. You buy into those kind of things. And, buddy, I'm trying to help you get your highest batting average. I know the batting average is never going to go away. right? But can I at least get you to walk up to the plate with confidence 5 times a night if you're in pro baseball and 3 times a night if you're in high school?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I love that statement. The batting average has no brain. Right? It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know if you're walking up to the plate with confidence or without. It's going to be there.
Right.
Right? It's going to
Yeah.
be there. So, let me get a little truer scale. I talked to some sabermetric guy the other day, and I agree with a lot of that stuff. I'm sure that stuff's very, very valuable. But then I asked him, I said, okay, now in all your stats, how many times did that guy walk up to the plate with confidence and without?
Right.
2 different stats.
Yeah. It's hard.
Right?
It's hard to kind of quantify that. Yeah.
Well, buddy, yeah, that's right. And this is why the mental side is more important than mechanics and sabermetrics.
Mm-hmm.
The mental side is what we need to be teaching our kids.
The intangibles. Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
yeah, it's fun.
So, you've obviously spent a lot of time training some really talented players. You've worked closely with Mark Trumbo, Hank Cogner, and so my next question is seeing these guys train and seeing them develop and break into the big leagues. I'm sure there's a lot of pride that kind of goes into that. What I kind of want to ask you is, what role would you say work ethic plays? Because I know that these guys have some pretty solid work ethic. What role would you say work ethic plays?
Well, you have to have it. And, but there's a big difference between working hard and being a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, perfectionist in baseball, it ain't happening. Right? My boy Billy Bean, all the tools in the world. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, we were roommates for 3 years, and this guy had all the tools in the world, but he had football mentality. Right? He had perfectionist. He felt he should have hit 1,000. And too many players let their mind get in the way of their ability. I'm trying to help guys get their ability to come out. I don't take credit for Mark Trumbo or Paul Goldsmith or A.J. Pollock or even Jose Batista, who had my CD in 2001. Mm-hmm. I'm just thankful that I've given them a little bit of an edge on, getting their abilities to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? To give a little bit of freedom for their abilities to show up. Mm-hmm. And that was my whole thing, man. I mean, these guys have had great coaches. They have all the ability in the world. And it's just it's a fun thing when, I hear that they like my stuff or they had my CD, and it's just unbelievable. I mean, especially from where I started. Mm-hmm. Dude, let's go over my history real quick. Freshman in high school, 4'11", 90 pounds, get 3 at-bats.
Yeah.
Right? Senior in high school, 5'8", $140. I don't start. Right? I grew 9 inches, but I went from tiny to small. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't get recruited by anybody. I'm thinking, the coach at Golden West College, he knows I'm coming there because my brother's a star there, and he didn't even have to call me. Well, I went out for the summer team, and I got cut. So that wasn't the plan. Fortunately, a couple guys quit. I'm home watching Oprah with my mom, and, all of a sudden I'm on the team. So I'm 19 years old. I got 3 at-bats the whole year, and I played in the big leagues. So, guys, don't let anybody tell you that you're too small to play this game, because nobody knows you're going to grow except for God, and I'm saying you don't even have to grow. Mm-hmm. It's like I said in my CD, what's Dustin Pedroia, 6'5"? Mm-hmm. I mean, this guy could shrink 2 inches and be a big leaguer. He's 5'7", right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to be tall. That's the beautiful thing about this game, right? This is why anybody can play this game. But, buddy, I see it all over the country. Too many of these kids are turning into perfectionists because of the way they're being brought up when they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. And yet I know the parents want what's best for them, but we don't know how to do it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to do it, right? You change what you think success is. Rich Amaral and I had a team of 11 and 12-year-olds, and we got little Q stickers. We got 1,000 of them. Mm-hmm. And if this kid, little 11-year-old, had a quality at-bat, hit the ball hard, competed, we get your helmet over here, buddy, and we put a little sticker on the back of his helmet. And he'd just be like, yeah, and we're building these kids up. Because this game's going to break these kids down. I don't need my parent doing it, my coach doing it, my teammates doing it. It's going to do it by itself. Mm-hmm. We had the biggest spaz in the league on our team. I mean, this guy couldn't walk and chew gum. If he had gum, and we're like, dude, get it out. Right? Mm-hmm. And he would foul the ball off, and we made him feel like he was Mickey Mantle. Right? And his parents said it was the most fun year ever playing baseball because nobody's ever built him up in sports. Mm-hmm. And that's what it needs to be at that age, man. This isn't life or death. When you got a 6-year-old, I got one of my buddies. He's a travel ball coach of a 6-year-old team, right? Mm-hmm. Great guy, good coach, right? Can be a good coach. And he tells me they're 30-2, all proud. And I'm like, dude, who cares, right? Mm-hmm. They're 6-year-olds. They want ice cream after the game, okay? But the parents love it when we win. Well, you know what? The parents are idiots at that age if they're thinking that. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but you better change what you think success is, unless you want your son to quit when he's 13, right? Because that's what happens. They don't like the feeling of failure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why we need to change what we think success is. This is why, we need these kids to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But getting back to, my story, I mean, I grow 4 inches when I'm about 20 years old, right? And all of a sudden I'm getting recruited by all these colleges and schools. I had a full ride to UC Irvine, I had a full ride to UCLA, right? And I friggin' can't spell cat, right? And I couldn't get into UCLA. And kids, listen to me right here, okay? I know your parents know nothing at this little punk age you're at right now. Listen to them. Get good grades. Let your ability dictate where you're going to go to school, right? Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about, man. You get a good education out of this game. You can't tell me if you're playing travel ball or high school baseball that you can't get an education out of this game. If you're good, and like you said, if you work hard,
right.
And you get out of your own way and have fun.
That's the key right there. Yeah.
Oh, buddy, it's all about getting out of your own way. You get out of your own way, buddy, and let your abilities come out. This is why these guys call me once a week, right? Mm-hmm. This is why I'm getting the calls, because it's right? We're playing a hard game, right? I'll give my greatest spiel ever to Trumbo, and we'll be talking, and he gets it, and I look in the paper, and he's like, oh, crap, he's facing King Felix tonight, And he's still going to walk and play with confidence. But it's hard to play this game at a high level.
Yeah.
And, it's you got to change what you think success is, buddy. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting that you were talking about the reward system that you had with those younger guys, because you guys have a similar kind of setup going along with the affiliate system with the Toronto Blue Jays, right? You guys were giving out gift cards whenever you guys are hitting the ball hard, or can you talk to us?
Yeah, you know what? And you probably shouldn't have to do that, but I'm just trying to give these guys a little bit of a nugget to get out of their own way. Mm-hmm. And when we have 3 winners per week, a little $25 gift card.
And this is for the AA, single A, even triple A guys, right?
This is from all the way from rookie ball to triple A.
Okay.
We have 3 gift cards, 3 days a week, or 3 cards per week, and whoever has the most quality at bats gets a gift card. And so in their mind, I'm trying to establish opening day every Monday for these kids, right? And to get out of their own way. And because we had one kid go 2 for 20 one week, and he won a card because he had 2 hits. He freaking hit 7 missiles right on the screws, right at somebody, mm-hmm. and he got 3 guys over. So he's 12 for 20, and 12 for 20 is going to get you a card every week. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the percentage is usually between 50 and 60% quality at bats. And now if we could get 9 guys to have at least 2 quality at bats a game, buddy,
it's a dangerous lineup.
A bunch of games.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm doing this quality at bat stuff, it's to try to create confidence. Everything I talk about is to create confidence and compete. Right? If I'm good when I'm confident, right? The true question isn't where are my hands, where are my feet, what are they thinking, what am I hitting? The true question is how do I friggin' create confidence because I'm good when I have it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm trying to get these kids to buy into. Hit ball hard, you win. Help my team win that day. There's freedom in that thinking. Too many players let their mind get in the way of their ability over yesterday. Oh, I went 0 for 5, and now I go 0 for 2, and now in my mind I'm 0 for 7 going into my 8th at bat. Mm-hmm. And we kill ourselves. And now we're not walking up there with confident guy.
Yep. All right, so obviously you watch a lot of baseball games. Not only are you the performance coach for the Blue Jays, but you're also a big league scout. So, you're watching a lot of games live. So my next question is, who is one player that you get to see that every time you watch, you're just like, wow, this guy's got it figured out? Who's one guy?
Well, I love watching the guys that like my CDs. The Trumbos, the Goldsmith, A.J. Pollock. A.J. Pollock got my CD when he was in sophomore in college at Notre Dame, and he said it just changed his life because he listened to it every day. He went out to the Cape, he was MVP, listened to it every day, first-round pick, and he buys into what I'm talking about. He gets it. Mm-hmm. I have different levels of students, mm-hmm. right? I got A students, B students, C students, D students, and F students, and he's an A student. I mean, mm-hmm. he gets it. Kevin Pillar with the Blue Jays. Mm-hmm. This guy signed for $1,000, dude. He's one of the best players in our system. I mean, he's a stud, mm-hmm. right? MVP of the league, won a batting title, hitting .330 in AA right now. Signed for $1,000 and had a 54-game hitting streak when he was a junior in college and didn't get drafted. So anytime that you guys think you're getting screwed, think of that. Yeah. But I enjoy watching those guys. I enjoy the guys competing. I've always liked watching Joe Mauer hit.
Hmm.
The calmness. I think he does a really good job of making 92 look 82. Right.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
we get that heartbeat going, and you're right. I scout every night, and when I see a guy just gripping that bat and death gripping it, buddy, it actually makes me hyperventilate. It affects my breathing.
The
And
sawdust. Yeah.
oh, but it's unbelievable, right? You're going to be your best athlete with your heartbeat between 60 and 70.
Hmm.
Okay, and a lot of kids get their heartbeat up 100, 120, and it takes away from your athleticism. So I'm always talking about slow feet, fast hands, quiet head, making 92 look 82. Well, make 92 look 102. Get your heartbeat up, speed your feet up, get your head moving forward. It'll look 102.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
So. And then say, you know what? All the stuff I talk about, it's easier said than done, but it can be done.
Hmm.
This is why I like the high school kid to get my CD early, or the good travel ball kid, or even the dad. So now the dad has an 11-year-old. 11-year-old's not going to get everything I talk about, but the dad is. And now the
Hmm.
kid's 11, 12, 13, 14. Hey, what's spring say here, man? Hit ball hard, you win. Parents, if you didn't get to go to a game and your son had a game that you couldn't see, when he comes home, it's not how many hits did you have. It's how many good at-bats did you have, right? Did your team win? Did you help your team, right? We keep everything on attainable goals, right? This game it affects confidence so much because of unattainable goals,
Hmm.
right? When I hear a guy say that my goal is to hit 320 home runs, I think that's crazy,
Hmm.
right? Because what if you start up 2 for 30? How you feeling?
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't go
In the
1 for
hole.
20, 30 times, you didn't play long enough. Right? It's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
It's how do I get out of it? Right? When you can do everything right and go 0 for 4, buddy, that's mind blowing. I've seen guys just in 10 at bats hit 8 absolute missiles and get no hits.
Yeah. It's happened to me plenty of times.
There's no doubt. Right? Let me give you a little tip, Mark. The better hitter you become, the more lineouts you're going to have.
Hmm.
All right? The more lineouts you're going to have. So the next time you line out, instead of going into pout mode, so I could friggin' hit mode. That's why I line out.
Oh yeah.
Right? And then, but this is the thing, man. Pout mode. I'm not saying you're soft, but it sure does look soft, right? I don't care if
Right.
you go in pissed off mode, but don't go into pout mode.
Right.
I say pissed off mode. Don't be an idiot, right? But it's okay to, gosh, darn it, right? For one
Right.
hitter, and then you take a deep breath and you get back in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely experienced that whenever I was playing in the Valley. There were some days where I definitely let it out, but
Me too.
all right. So I want to follow up this interview with ways the AOB community can reach out to you if they want to. I know that you have a Twitter account. What is that? That's Twitter.com/ what, Quality at Bats?
It's just at quality at bats.
Okay, at Quality at Bats. We'll make sure we link that down below. You also have your website with your CD and your DVD QAB. That's what, qualityatbats.com. We'll make sure we link that down below as well.
Yeah.
Spring, thank you so much. I've got one final question for you. So we have a player that just comes up to you and he just wants to know just one simple baseball tip that's going to allow him to reach his true potential. What would that be?
Well, one, get my CD.
Right.
We give ourselves
That's an
too
easy
much
tip.
credit.
Yeah.
That's a given. We give ourselves too much credit to remember what we're taught. If you like what I'm talking about right now, if we came back in 2 weeks and you said what I say, you say something about the batting average.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And other than that, you want to get the best out of your abilities. You have to change what you think success is, right? And it stems back from the batting average. My main vein in my CD is the batting average. I know how evil it is. I know what it does to confidence,
Mm-hmm.
right? I chase 300, right? I know what that feels like. And now you're 0 for 4 and you're looking at that lineup and you're like, oh man, if 2 guys get on, I got to hit again, right?
You don't want the fifth, yeah.
You don't want the fifth. And when I said I don't care what I hit, oh buddy, I could be 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, and now I'm looking at that lineup. I need 2 guys to get on so I can be the hero.
Mm-hmm. I got the same exact phone ring, man.
That's what we're looking for, buddy.
Yeah.
You got to buy into that. Change what you think success is, so confident guy shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Have attainable goals, daily goals, team goals. There's freedom in that thinking. Now ability's showing up. Doesn't mean you're going 4 for 4. It means I'm going to show up. It means I'm going to post. Right? That's the whole thing. When you put the team first, when you play for the name on the front of the jersey, trust me, the guy in the back gets better.
Oh yeah.
Right? When it's about you, when I hear a guy say I'm 1 for 20, I'll say, holy smokes, I'm glad it's not about you. Right? This is about the team, buddy. Let's go. Show up. Post. Dude, I got an order the other day from David Freese, MVP of the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Nicest kid in the world, man. And I told him, I said, buddy, as great as you are, your career hadn't even started until you say I don't care what I hit. And you've been an all-star. You've been MVP of the World Series. But this year he's hitting about $180. He got my CD. He's like, buddy, you blew my mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? It'd be because it's right. This is about confidence. I said, you got confidence, David Freese. You got non-confident David Freese. Confident David Freese is an all-star. Non-confident David Freese sucks. I told him just saying. He starts laughing because he knows I'm right. So what's the question? How do I friggin' create confidence? Because I'm good when I have it. That's why hit ball hard, you win works. That's why help team works. Team works.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'll get these 18-year-old kids coming in, signed for $1 million, $500,000, and they've never failed. They've never gone 1 for 20, and everybody thinks they're Mike Trout and Bryce Harper. Let me give you a little tip. Those two guys are freaks. Okay, it's okay to be a 24-year-old big leaguer, 25-year-old big leaguer, and I'll ask these kids that are 18. I'll say, if I told you you're going to be a 25-year-old big leaguer and you're going to get 10 years in, will you take it? Every one of them, like, absolutely. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's 7 years, buddy. You ain't playing there. Right? Just to put it in perspective. I'm not saying it's going to take that long. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. And you're only 34 and you got your 10 in. Right? So those 7 years, and usually it's not that long if they're good. It's more 4 or 5.
Right.
But it's to learn how to post. It's to learn how to show up with confident guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good player. The non-confident guy sucks. How do I don't want that guy showing up. You let that guy show up too often, buddy, you're going to have a real job real soon.
Mm-hmm. All right. So quote of the day, change the way you view success.
Absolutely.
Awesome, Spring. Well, thank you so much. I'll make sure we link all those links down below, man. We really appreciate this. This was awesome.
All right, Mark. Thanks, bro.
All right. Thanks.